What's up, everybody, and welcome to the LittleBigKast. We are four players searching for that elusive game-life balance. On today's show, Drew blesses the rains down in Africa.
That's me.
And I eat poutine for the first time.
Yay!
Just the name of poutine just sounds kind of
Pooping.
I think we do
perverted.
get to the games.
It sounds a little perverted.
We do eventually get to the games and talk about E3.
Yeah, so if you're in the intro and you're like, dang, this is taking forever. Yeah, it's about an hour long. So sit back, relax, and enjoy episode 129 of the LittleBigKast. Caw-caw. What's up, everybody? Welcome to LittleBigKast. This is episode 129.
129.
Man.
And it's been a while.
Almost 3
Sorry.
or 4 weeks.
Yeah, we've been
Quite intrepid.
kind of all over the place doing different things.
Literally.
Some people specifically have literally been on the other side of the world. And so we're going to get into that
It's true.
And it
right
wasn't
now.
me.
Yeah,
got a
which is
tan.
surprising.
Drew got a
Typically-
tan.
Yeah, if you noticed, Drew does look a little bit darker
He looks
today.
a little bit warmer.
Thank you guys.
So-
So you noticed I worked so hard on this.
We typically start each week with a breakdown of what's happened over the last week, or in this case, maybe a couple of weeks because of time away. But Drew, I mean, you've kind of lived the adventure life.
I had a little
week-ish.
adventure. I'll be quick though, because I know there's a lot of games and fun E3 things we want to
Yes,
talk
yes,
about.
yes, yes.
We're gamers, but I will tell you that I did spend nearly 2 weeks in Africa, which is strange. You know, it's strange for me. I'm not.
I bless the rains down in
I did sing that.
Africa.
I did sing that
You
while we
did?
were there. Yeah,
Awesome.
had to.
Did it rain while you were in Africa?
No, it rained for the week before we got there.
Of course.
And then
it was like, nah.
Then there was nothing, and it was beautiful weather. It was still wonderful, 75, 85, and
Wow.
we did manual labor. So what we went there for was to document some students who were doing service project. And I tell you, I have not met a more impressive group of students. And we see them all.
Aren't they
right?
cool?
But this would be take your top tier of students in all of your classes that just deliver, have integrity, and have a heart. And put them in, 30 of them together, and just tell them to do some volunteer service.
Just
they
give them a
loved it.
shovel.
Right? Exactly. They loved it. They had a great time. Their lives were changed, but it was just awesome to be there with them because it was just life experience for everybody, all of us. So it was everybody. I've come back and said, yeah, I just got back from Africa. They'll be like, how was the safari? Did you see lions and tigers? And I didn't know. I didn't do
No,
any of
there
that.
was-
I went to a little village in the middle of nowhere, and I hauled gravel and built walls and stuccoed and painted. And
So were you guys building libraries? Were you building wells?
it was
What were you
it was
doing?
one big giant building that had 2 classrooms and a library area. That would be for a school that had only enough rooms to keep the 9th and 10th grade. And then if you were in that area and you wanted to go to 11th or 12th grade, you'd either have to travel 20 miles to another city to do it, or walk, or just not go to school, which is what many of them just stopped going to school.
Right.
But these classrooms had 70 kids in a class. And so by building one more building into that secondary school, they'll now have the ability to hold 11th and 12th grade.
Awesome.
That
Which means they can
is fantastic.
right? They can
Go to
finish school.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Doesn't it
met
just
some
make
of
you
the
feel
coolest
like-
people.
Does it just get you all warm and fuzzy on the inside?
It does.
I just can't believe how self-absorbed we are. I went
Yeah.
11 days with no cell service, with hardly. Maybe I talked to my kids twice, maybe 3 times in that whole time, and it was fine. Not talking to my kids part, but the whole idea of just being there, and not having I don't have to do
Not
this
feeling
all
like
day.
you were connected.
Yeah.
You didn't have a
that. I
responsibility
feel like-
to keep
I
up
love
with your
that.
I feel like
audience.
that first hour, couple hours or something without it, you're just kind of fidgety.
Yeah. But then something
there's-
happens, and you're like,
There's literal withdrawal syndromes.
yeah. But it was cool to be with a cool group of students that just all felt the same way, and they did awesome things. So I'm back. It was a wonderful experience, and we're putting together a documentary, which I hope will be ready by mid-September.
So did you feel like, for me, in my time that I've spent outside of the country and doing things like that, I just come home with a profound sense of gratitude.
Yes.
And holy cow, we don't know how good we have it. We like to complain and we like to be frustrated and we like to express our frustration. But holy cow, the fact that you had an elementary school with seats that was guaranteed you
Right.
as a kid.
Right.
Right.
You don't even
And,
think
like,
about it.
You don't even think about it.
It's crazy that there are places where like water is something that you have to think about, and like you have to work to have. Where
Yep.
it's like for us, we just go kick it on.
Yep.
And
So-
it's hot water,
And you don't
too.
want that water. You want the other water.
This isn't good enough water. My tap water tastes like
Right?
iron.
Yeah.
It doesn't taste right.
I can taste
was-
the fluoride that
It was
the
amazing.
government puts in there.
It was amazing. So, yeah,
What a
I
cool
will
experience.
share more on my socials, but it was just great to be there. I knew the kids were well taken care of, and so Peach and I just had 2 weeks to ourselves to just work, and it was like being back in the trenches again. We'd wake up in the morning, be like, okay, what's the plan? Who are we shooting today? What are we doing? And we just get it done.
That's
Loved
awesome.
it. So awesome. How about you guys? Well, you went traveling up to Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah,
across
you've been
the
all
border.
over.
I went to the Great North.
That's right. The great north.
I crossed the wall.
The Great White Desolation.
Yeah, it's so Claire and I were invited to a wedding up in the Philippines, or excuse me, in Toronto for a girl that I met when I was working in the Philippines. She got married, and so we went up and we got to be part of Claire's first Filipino
Yeah.
wedding.
That's right.
And so it was freaking
Is there
awesome,
lots
dude.
of food and awesome fun? at
Lots of
Filipino
food,
wedding-
but like
weddings?
at a Filipino wedding, it's like singing and dancing and like over the top dresses. Like it's like everyone is in a ball gown, and
Like how a celebration should be.
yeah, it's like it's on another
Like an
level.
Indian
like
wedding?
everyone is dancing to Psy, you know, like everyone's up there doing the freaking like Psy dances. It's wild. Like it's for Claire. Claire was just like, I didn't know what to expect, and this blew my expectations out of the water. Like just tons of good food, tons of great people. Everyone is just like, if you know Filipinos, like they're just super super outgoing and not shy when they're in their element. Like if they're in their element, it's like everything to the wind. Like let's just party. And it was amazing, dude. We had this little girl, like she must have been like 12 or 13 years old, little, just petite little Filipina, go up and she's like, I'm gonna sing a song dedicated to the bride and groom. And we're like, okay. We'll see how this goes. Freaking belted out some Adele that was on par with freaking Adele.
Wow.
It was amazing.
It's like one of those voice reaction videos when Simon Cowell.
Yeah, where everyone's like, whoa. That's exactly right. Like we were absolutely blown away, and it just reminded me of like all the things that I love and missed about, you know, the Philippines, and like the people and the food, and like there's just this real like familial kind of environment and aura when you're around, like Filipino people are just good people. So it was a lot of fun. And so we decided to turn the wedding into just a week-long vacation. So we, again, like similar to Drew, what you guys did, grandparents watched the kiddos.
Yeah.
Which shout out to Rob and Denise. You guys are champions. And Claire and I slept in every day. We stayed up late every night. And we spent 3 days in Toronto just touring through the city and eating food. And
Yum.
I love the city of Toronto. I think it's just really, really interesting and cool, and like the history behind it is amazing. And I mean, we went through and toured through the Casa Loma, which is this beautiful mansion, kind of at the center of the city, well, center of the old city, and they filmed all of the X-Men movies there. So that's Xavier's mansion. So if you remember the very first X-Men movie where Hugh Jackman's like running through the hallways trying to figure out what's going on,
I do remember.
and like
that.
hiding from the other mutants as they're walking around, like
That was it?
I walked those hallways.
Did you pretend that you were hiding from other mutants?
It was amazing. I did. I was like Claire, right?
What's it?
I was like, Claire, right here. This is where Wolverine was like. And
She's like, nerd.
she's
shut
like,
up.
look, can we continue, please?
That's also
gonna
the same
pretend like I
place
don't know
where
you.
Scott Pilgrim
Yep.
had his
So
fight
Scott
with Chris
Pilgrim.
Evans,
Yep.
right?
Scott
wow.
Pilgrim was filmed there. They did Beautiful Creatures was filmed there. I can't remember. I don't know. A bunch of teen like action drama kind of show. I don't know what those are.
The vampire-y things.
Like this along the same vein. I can't remember. It's like the City of Ember or something.
Oh.
whatever those
Not
films
my
are.
world.
Anyway, it was insane. Like you walk through this place and it's just like the amount of like just crazy amounts of dollars that went into like every inch of this place is just ridiculous. I mean, the library is the size of my entire house, and it looks like
I
a
like
scene
that
out of
idea.
like Beauty and the Beast. Like you're like, this is Beast's library. This is freaking nuts.
So cool.
And then they have this underground tunnel because of how cold it gets in the winter. They wanted to make sure that you could get to his car garage and his stables without freezing to death. So they have an underground tunnel, and you get to this. You get to the horse stables, and all of the stalls for the horses are made out of a Spanish mahogany. The names of their horses are emblazoned in 24 karat gold lettering. It's like Lord. What was the name of the horse? It's
Yeah,
Lord Kitchener. Lord Kitchener.
Kitchener.
Lord Kitchener.
Hello.
Like
Lord
it felt.
Don't say.
I felt like it was like something straight out of like old World of Warcraft. It was like, yes, my lord.
Chansey's son,
wow.
Lord Kitchener. Or whatever.
But that was cool. And then we hopped over to Montreal, and in Montreal is just like a lot of
Montreal's
eating.
Awesome.
We spent as much time as we could eating. We did have an interesting experience at a spa. So Claire and I mean everybody.
Interesting experience at a spa. We've talked about some of these.
This isn't that kind of interesting, I
Story
guess, because
time.
the last one involved like
A rub and tug.
almost borderline. This one was like, I mean, I've been to a handful of spas. Like I like to
No
get a
pun
massage.
intended.
It's nice.
I was like, ew.
And gosh dang,
You can't go
guys are
anywhere with
killing me.
mascot Glenn.
It's like even redder. I love it.
So,
I love handful.
but we get there and like I thought we understood what we were getting into, and like you kind of get a sense of what's going on. But like this spa, it was built around the idea of like pools and different temperature pools, and they're heated through natural hot springs. And so we showed up and neither of us knew that. And they're like, if you guys want to throw on your swimsuits, you can go hang out in the pools. And we're like, I don't have a swimsuit. And everyone is in like walking around in their swimsuits, like everyone. And Claire and I are in like coats and like long thing. And I was like, do you have just a clinic? Like, do you have like a little place we can just grab something to eat before we get our massages? And they're like, yeah, it's just downstairs. It's no big deal. You just walk down. You know, they describe the path. We walk down there. And like I opened the door expecting like a little cafe, and it's just a room full of people in like towels, like naked, and like
Oh,
I was like-
so you got beyond the swimsuit section.
yeah, I was like, I don't know that we fit in here like fully dressed.
Was everybody in like masks,
No,
like eyes wide shut style?
no, it wasn't like a
No,
sex
like,
party.
yeah.
Imagine.
Oh no, secret sex.
No, it was like it wasn't a big thing, but it was like what it did was it very quickly reminded me of like, oh hey American, you're out of your element right now. Like
This is not.
this is
Right
something you
now.
weren't expecting, and it's thrown you for a loop. And so it was just very weird.
fun.
But my gosh, this is the last thing I'll say about Montreal is we went and ate at the holy cow, I'm blanking. It's Joe Beef's little sister, basically. You know Joe Beef,
Yeah.
the place right next to it, the
I've
something
seen
house.
A couple of those, I think.
The
Was it the French place or his other? Because I sent you a couple of those restaurants.
It's the one right.
Liverpool?
It's Liverpool House.
Yeah.
It was the Liverpool House.
Yum.
So, my
hungry
gosh,
already.
guys. So what's funny is I went in and I had originally ordered the ribeye steak because which was their like most expensive thing on the menu. It was like $180 steak, and I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
I was like, I'm gonna
do it.
I was like, I'm doing it. I'm jumping in. I'm doing it. And I was like, okay, this is what I want. And he was all, you don't want that. It's too big. And I was like, it's too big. He's all, he's like,
little
just
boy.
trust me. It's bigger than what you want. He's like, why don't you do this one? And it was a
fillet or
smaller steak. It was a fillet. And I was like, I freaking wanted the ribeye. And he walked away. So I ordered what he suggested, and I was like really bummed out. And then they brought out this incredible steak. I mean, they threw like blue cheese and spinach on top of it, which I've never had blue cheese on a steak. Like I'm a
really?
steak guy, and I've never had blue cheese on a steak. And I was
Love
like,
it. It's good.
it was like
You're never gonna go back.
Right?
it
right?
was it was like one of those experiences that you just never ever forget. And fun fact, 3 days after we got home, Justin Trudeau actually tweeted out a picture of him and Obama eating dinner in the Liverpool house.
Oh wow.
Dang.
And I was like, I sat across from where that seat was.
I have a
super
worst.
I wish I'd have
crush
been
on
there.
Justin
Did you
I
ever
wish
find
I'd have
out
been
how
there a
big
couple
the
days
steak
ago.
was?
Nobody ordered it. I didn't see anybody order it.
Okay, at
I was bummed.
$180, it's got to be like a
Yeah,
pretty
no
good
kidding,
size.
nobody
Probably
It's a
like
ribeye.
72-ounce, like, if you eat this, it's free
It's like-
steak.
Yeah. Well, so while Jeff was apparently enjoying quite delicious food, every day I had rice and beans and cabbage.
Which was
Just want to
good.
put that out.
And
That was good
cabbage.
as well, though.
It was
wasn't
the first time.
It got old quick.
And then every morning, because we didn't drink a lot of the
You
water,
privileged white guy.
I had toast. I had toast and jam and hot chocolate most
That
days.
makes me feel a little. I mean, we
You
we
ate
ate
good.
like kings every
Yeah.
day.
I had airline
every
food for half the days that I was
for
there.
lunch every day. We ate. In fact, all but one of the days for lunch, we were eating ramen at a place that like was making their noodles.
Oh my gosh,
At
that's so
6
cool.
a.m. So like from 6 to 10, they're making their noodles, and then they go live at like 12:30, and so you're eating like freshly made ramen noodles. That was like
That's what I'm doing for
I
lunch.
found a ramen place in Salt Lake, actually.
there's one Tasha's ramen is good. Is that the one you're talking about?
Maybe it's right next to Dick and Dixie's bar.
I'm gonna find some more food.
But they,
Live.
I mean, they have it. It's pretty good.
You have to let me know.
I have
Text
to-
me the name. And check out, if you haven't tried Tasha's Ramen, check out Tasha's Ramen. They're
Where's that at?
it's down by, I want to say like
It's good gaming.
50th South.
All of our viewers
It's
like, this
it's
is a great
down by
idea.
like 50th South by all
Oh.
the like different
Yeah,
dealerships.
yikes. Yeah.
It's worth the drive.
Okay.
Their
No,
stuff is
This one was
dang good.
downtown, so.
It's very, very small. It's actually kind of has the feel of like a Hanamaru. Really
Cool.
small, but that's kind of their specialty. Anyway, outside of that, on our vacation, we also watched Guardians,
Nice. I have not done that yet.
kid-free Guardians of the Galaxy. It was fantastic.
Oh my gosh, I know.
It was way, way better than I had expected it to be.
Yeah, I was genuinely surprised because
Did you
usually
cry?
sequels. Me, I always cry. Give me a break.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
That was great.
Yeah.
Oh, I was a wreck. No spoilers, but I was a wreck. Yeah, I was genuinely surprised at how good that was. And speaking of movies, I'm kind of like jumping in on your action. We also, Layla and I went to go see Wonder Woman.
Nice.
Yeah, very good.
And my goodness, I'm just like, oh, it's so good. And it
I've
doesn't
heard it's amazing.
it's really good, and
I
you
haven't seen it yet.
you can tell that like each one of the scenes is shot very very deliberately.
Good.
Like there's no like Baywatch slow mo like da-dun 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 kind of thing. The only
And that's what I'm hearing is like it was filmed to show a bad
it showed power.
superhuman chick. Like
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
this
it's
is
so good.
this is like a real life
This is like a
superhero
hell
girl.
yeah.
Yeah.
it's like the only time that it ever slowed down was when like foot made contact with face kind of thing.
So did
So-
you feel like Layla could hang there? I
Oh,
was
yeah.
So could I take Olive to it?
Let me think. Very little blood, very violent though. Lots of kicking and jumping around and things like that.
Right.
But I think all of
Anything like overtly like scary, like nightmare faces, like monster looking dudes.
well,
No
you're facing
chew.
off against Ares, the god of war.
Right.
So,
Which I figured, but I
Spoilers.
never saw what he looked like in
yeah,
the
that was
commercials.
that was about it. I mean, he's got like metal and horns and,
Okay.
but he has a human face.
Okay, it might be okay.
Yeah.
I might take her to it.
I wouldn't take my 6-year-old though. If there's kicking and punching,
Because she'll do
just-
it.
She'll just
She'll
do
just
it.
be like, that's how to do it.
That's what Wonder Woman does. That's what I'm gonna do
Yeah,
now.
she'll punch everybody.
Olive and I showed Olive the Wonder Woman cartoon, like the actual full length PG-13 movie,
Mm-hmm.
and there were a couple parts where she's like, "I don't want to watch this anymore. This is scary." Like Ares is raising armies of the dead to come
No.
fight for him, and I was like,
No.
"If the movie goes that direction, I got to be a little careful."
No, it's tense, but it's not anything like that.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I was gonna say something, but it left. But anyhow, what I did was I painted Glenn's apartment.
Oh wow.
Glenn,
Wow,
Glenn
you guys
then
got
fed
together.
me,
Oh, so there
and
you go.
Worth
we
Right there,
and then
right?
we all watched Game of Thrones because that's we're just
Good.
gearing
That's
up
good.
for the new
So
season.
are you guys starting at 1? Because I want to.
No, we started
Season
at season
6.
6.
Okay.
But I
Are you
did
starting at
watch,
1?
1 through 5 already this year.
You want to start at 1 or
No, I won't. I don't think I could have the patience to
Oh,
start back
no.
at 0. But
it's a lot of seasons?
I was wondering how you guys were rolling with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just 6. We're doing
Just
for
a
the dinner
refresher.
party series anyway. We're just doing, which would probably be me and Jimmy, but and Robin. Sorry, Robin. Anyway,
I love the dinner party series.
So it'll be episodes 1 through 3, which we did already, and then we'll do 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8, and 9, and then for the last party, we were gonna do the season finale plus the season premiere. So you should come to that.
That'll be the one that I'm gonna try
How
and get
long
a
are the
sitter.
episodes? Like 3 episodes
They're
a night?
an hour.
They're
So
an
it's like
hour
a full
each.
like eat and watch
Yeah.
for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my goal was to do like a course per episode.
On a scale from 1 to 10, how excited are we for the new
7.
season?
I'm pretty jazzed.
Pretty dang
Nice.
excited. It's all new territory, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
none of the books cover any of this stuff
Nobody
now,
knows
Oh.
anything. This is all
Oh, that makes it something.
Yep.
stuff.
which has got to just
I know.
piss off freaking. Holy cow! I'm blanking on his name now. The author.
George R. R.
George
Martin.
George R. R.
Yeah.
Martin. Yeah.
Mr. Martin.
Oh, my friends are dead.
He's
You know-
going to be dead before he finishes the book.
Seriously, that's the
I
thing.
know.
Like
That's the worry.
I feel the same
They-
way about Breath of the Wild, or not Breath of the Wild. Name of the Wind.
Yeah.
Breath of the Wild is great, though.
Rothfuss's series. Like he's only written 2 of those books.
She's going to be dead before he finishes
And-
Breath of the Wild.
And we're not seeing anything happening on those books. Brandon Sanderson died before he finished The Wheel of Time. Like, or not
Yeah,
Brandon
Robert-
Sanderson,
Robert Jordan.
Robert Jordan.
He had like
Yeah.
13
You
of
They
them.
ran still
download
alive.
consciousness.
But that's, I just look like again. And so again, we're gonna tangent because that's what I do. I apologize.
We need to be together regularly just so we have fewer tangents.
Yeah, So did I tell you guys I met Robert Jordan? Or freaking holy cow! Now
Brandon
I'm switching them
Sanderson.
up. Brandon Sanderson at an airport.
No, I thought you don't know.
So we were on a
the
flight. We were on a
Aragorn
flight
guy?
together. No, Brandon
No, he just
Sanderson
wrote,
finished the Wheel of Time.
Oh.
He's doing the Way of Kings. When I met him, I just walked up and I was like, I don't want to bug you. I just want to tell you, like, my wife and I are huge fans, and I said thank you for writing with haste. Because that dude will put out 3 books that are incredible in the time it takes any of the other big players in that genre right now to put out anything. That guy's insane. Like, if you want some good fantasy, you need to be reading Brandon Sanderson's novels. He's incredible.
Your guy just put out a new series too, didn't he? Start up a new series?
The Looking Glass Wars guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been working on a lot of
Who's
a lot
that?
of things. The guy that does Looking Glass Wars, which is the Alice in Wonderland, like darker
pretty good
versions. But yeah, he started some stuff with
I need to get your books
the
back.
training of one of the main characters, kind of the pre-story. Yeah, good stuff. I love it. I need to read more. I thought I might be able to read more on this trip to
Yeah,
Africa.
right.
Somebody met me in the airport with his Switch. And so I had 2 10-hour flights with the Switch.
Oh, with your Switch.
Yeah.
He gave me his
Oh
Switch.
my gosh.
And so while I'm
were you
there-
playing Zelda?
all night, every night.
You didn't even bring it up.
I know. I haven't got to the
This
games
is a gaming
yet.
podcast.
I haven't got to the games yet. But yeah, no, that's why I didn't get to read any on this trip, is because I was playing Breath of the Wild.
Dude,
I'm
Breath
still
of the
playing
Wild
it.
is amazing.
I'm still, yeah, it's so good. So
And speaking of gaming, I went to the Distant Worlds Final Fantasy music orchestral
went to that?
performance.
How was it?
orchestra.
Oh, it was so good.
She cried.
Oh, I cry. I don't know what my
Everything
what my
Robin
deal
says,
is.
Glenn is like, she cried.
She cried. I don't know what my deal is, but they start up the prelude, and I'm just like, I'm really here, because the first time I ever heard that Distant Worlds was a thing was like 10 years ago, and then I found it on just like Spotify and random music services. I'm like, oh, this would be really neat, and then I started looking at performances and like, oh, well, they're in like Europe,
Right? They're
like
not
there's
coming.
no way
The
that I'm
London
gonna
Opera House.
right, and then I'm with an indie gaming group, and they're like, oh yeah, well, Distant Worlds is coming to Salt Lake, and I've got a promo code, and I'm just like, give it to me.
Wow. So was that at the Capitol Theater?
It was at the Arabinal, whatever.
Bravenel.
Yeah.
Bravenel Hall.
Yeah,
Okay.
that one.
Arabrivinal.
Someone's not from Utah.
Yeah.
Shush.
You probably
Don't
call it Monticello too.
I don't even know what to call that place.
But it was amazing.
But oh my gosh, it was so good. And they had the screen going in the back and they were showing shots of the game. And I was just like, and then Jimmy sitting next to me going, it's nice.
Stone
just
Cold
like,
Jimmy.
I feel like Jimmy was asleep half the time. Was
No.
he? No?
No, he was fully functioning.
He slept through that entire third episode.
But
This was the same night we watched Game of Thrones,
Oh
by the
wow!
way.
So then
Oh,
you
wow.
like led
Late
into
night.
that. Oh my gosh!
Yeah. So there's my
I would
world.
have struggled.
I painted and I went to an orchestra.
No gaming?
Decent amount of gaming. I'm hitting a wall in Final Fantasy 15. I just want more things to do in it. And now I'm just like, well, crap, I don't have anything else left to do in my game. And I'm mad.
So I'm at the point now where I've beat everything that I have, like on my PlayStation, and so I've actually started going through my library and I'm trying to find something that I passed over for Destiny.
All right.
Like,
Oh, there might be.
I told you guys I
sitting there.
picked up like 15 games while we were playing Destiny to like pull me away that just couldn't grab me, and now that I'm done with my Destiny need, I still haven't found one that looks like super. I'm like, I was bored with it then. Why wouldn't I be bored with it now?
'Cause
So
you have time,
I don't
you have
know. I
time.
did go back. I played a couple, like I guess 2 months ago. I played through Arkham Knight. That was amazing.
That was a lot of fun.
Arkham Knight is
Those
great.
games are always fun.
Yeah, they're very, very, very well done. But Drew,
Yeah.
first of all, we haven't talked to Glenn, so let's start with Glenn, and then I want to hear your thoughts on Zelda.
Okay.
I'm going to keep it short because everybody else kept theirs long.
Yeah.
It's been a while. Who cares?
We don't have a
kidding,
producer.
I'm
If I had a
kidding, I'm
producer,
kidding.
he'd be in here. Let's go. That's what we do.
So I moved. I bought a new car. I beat Shadows of Mordor again.
You've had a very
Nice.
expensive time.
And that was about it. And I was sick for like all week. So that's
Which would give you some
what I
game
did.
time, right?
Yeah, well, yes, Shadows of Mordor. Because I wanted to play it again before Shadows of War came out.
Nice. You know what I'm going to do? I don't know why you just made me think of this. I'm going to go back and do all the DLC for Witcher.
Yeah, I haven't done that either.
Those are
I started
I don't know
that
why
again.
that
I did not do it.
What you just said is that's
Yeah, I
what
started
made
that again, and then I was like, I should do Shadows of Mordor, and so then I just skipped over Witcher. But
So before
I
it-
need to go back and do it.
So you haven't done any of it.
I haven't done the.
You
the
have,
Blood
Drew,
and
right?
Wine and stuff.
Of a
Do you-
blood wine and
Do I need to start the original game over to go into that,
I
or
think
I
so.
need to learn how to play again.
okay.
I think
Yeah,
either-
seriously.
They either give you like the stock character to
There is a
certain point.
steep learning curve to the Witcher series. Like,
No, when I started my replay,
I'm a little nervous.
I was a lot better the second time through. So I was like, oh yeah. So instead, it didn't take me like 7 hours to kill a griffin.
the
and
freaking
stuff.
griffin.
Oh, the griffin. No,
So-
those are both DLCs are just solid, and they feel like good, nice $20 games. Like they're just great.
Yeah,
So,
I need to do that, and
jump
I need
into
to
that.
finish
What are they,
Uncharted
20
too.
hours or something?
Easy. Yeah.
I still haven't finished Uncharted either.
That's what I need to do.
never
See,
did?
same thing. Because I'm.
I just hit this wall with Uncharted
Right.
where I was like,
Sometimes it
this
happens.
is no longer interesting right now.
Yeah.
Like,
You get bored of games. I'm kind of gamed out right
I'm-
now. I was just thinking this morning, should I play anything? And I was like, nah.
I haven't gamed for three weeks, other than Breath of the Wild.
okay, take it away.
I'll just tell a little bit about like.
You've
so
probably
I
played
did,
it more than I have.
I only
now.
have played on the handheld part of it, right? Because I don't
Okay.
have the dock, so I haven't like played console style.
Are you
It feels
playing
like a handheld.
on the Joy-Cons, or are you
Depends on where I'm at.
using
I
a pro
usually, like,
controller?
I
set it
like
up in front
breaking
of
them
me.
apart and setting it down
on the tray on the
Yeah.
plane and just playing like this.
Yeah.
And that's been really fun. What I,
just
love
take
about it
the
is
little
just
guy actually and just play with that.
Oh, really?
So
See,
it's a lot easier.
for me, it's too small for my hand. Like, I just
I have
can't
no,
do
I
it.
have no problem. But I really have enjoyed the portability of it and just having the game is just so classic Zelda feel, like just the way everything runs and yet it mixes the best of the Zelda, I don't know, like the sentiment of the sound effects and the story that you remember with the open world play and being able to do anything. So just like you were saying, Jeff, in several of your first times we talked about it, anything you think about being able to do, you can do. Like,
Yeah.
I would climb up to the top of some place and be like, I wonder if I can do, jump off and do this and catch that, and it all just works. So I've really enjoyed it. I'm finding little shrines here and there, but I've only probably got like 9 or 10 of them, and aren't there like 90 or?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
there's
so I've got a ways to
100
go.
and some. There's like 190 of the little
The Korok seeds.
the
Right.
croak seeds, which end up being poop.
Oh, is that what they end up
Spoiler alert.
What?
Yeah.
I've got about 15 of those. I'm doing okay, but I really feel like I'm still like yet to get, because I don't feel strong enough to go beat up anything big. I still run away from a lot of things, but I
just fight everything. Oh, I died. Start over.
So again. But I'm absolutely loving it. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I just say, I'm like, can't you do this with like a Pokemon game? Like in a lot of ways, it has the same kind of exploration drive that to me Ni no Kuni had.
Yes, very much so. Yep.
And the same sense of like awe, you know, like you go to a new place and you're just like, holy cow, or the first time you like run into a tree and he starts climbing it, you're like, holy freak. I can climb a freaking tree and pick the fruit off of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can chop that tree down. I can freeze that tree. I can hit it with my sword, jump on it, and it will launch me across the map. Like, it's crazy. Yeah, so you have a power that you can lock stuff, right?
Yeah.
Where it's like, and it locks it, and you can hit it, and it'll launch it. Well, if you lock it down, and you hit the crap out of it, it'll show an arrow like how far you're going to hit it, and then you just climb onto that boulder, and it'll be like,
and then you do the
and
hang
you'll travel like a mile off of like a rock being just launched in that direction.
You climb on it before it launches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
It's
enjoyable.
It's such a cool game.
I think it's wonderful. I'd love to play it on a big screen, but
I tell you what, I was really surprised with the Switch. I just bought it just to sell it on eBay, and then I just couldn't resist, so I broke into it. And even just playing Mario Kart was a lot of fun. You know?
Yeah.
So only one night did I find somebody who came into our room to get the water filter or something, and they saw me playing the Switch, and I was like, "You want to play Mario Kart?" So me and one of the college kids sat down and played Mario Kart for a race or two, and it was just kind of like a fun in the middle of like this, sweaty work world. They were like, "This is cool, this is fun." So it was fun, but I didn't tempt anymore. Like I could have set up like a full Mario Kart tournament.
Probably would have distracted from.
But I let them.
We were delayed on a flight once, and we did that.
Did you the whole?
We just sat down
really?
and played Mario Kart.
That's awesome.
Nice. Cool.
Because I just love that they break down to 2 controllers.
Yep. I think it's amazing.
Super awesome.
Yeah, very very portable.
I'll
I
bring
really
you
enjoy
the
it.
dock tonight, and then you can play it on your TV.
Stop you.
What I've loved is that it's the first game that's like not an N64 that Olive gets. Like she gets the controls.
Yeah.
Like the controls make sense to her, and she can jam in it without. In fact, she plays it totally retarded. Like she plays inverted both.
Oh really?
Vertical and horizontal.
How?
Both ways. But that's like what she does, and she jams, and she's killing it.
I'm impressed with that.
So she'll be like, "Dad, I need your help on this thing," and I'm like, "I can't even move." It's so frustrating.
How is this normal, my child?
Oh my gosh, it's brutal. But yeah, that's awesome. Anyway, that is a very long breakdown of what we've done since you last heard from us. So let's jump into the news.
Let's do it. I've got all kinds of news for you. PS4 owners spend almost 50,000 years a week gaming. Do you guys see that article?
I love it.
That's insane. And I always share the article with students about how much time gets uploaded to YouTube on a daily basis. Like 8 years of footage, or something.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about it, every week, 50,000 years of gaming is happening. It's at some level, like, you kind of go, wow, how many brains are getting rotted? But we know that a lot of that is just great storytelling.
Yep.
I mean, how much time does the world spend reading books?
Right.
It's just an awesome number, though. I think that's a huge number. What do you guys think?
I think it's
Surprising? Not surprising?
to me, it's not really surprising. I would love to know where they're getting the figures from, because if we're spending it calling it gaming, me turning on Final Fantasy 15 and just turning on the soundtracks,
Right. What you do
is not exactly the gaming experience. I'm up to 500 hours on that thing, and I've not even played even
Just the
remotely
music.
close
Just the
to
music.
like 50 hours
That's
on
funny.
it.
I think I still find that very funny that you
I know.
just sit there.
Well, but it's all
it's pretty.
it's all there.
It's all there. Yeah.
And then I don't even have to think about it anymore. But it's also something that I'll be quick about it, but it says a lot about engagement.
Right.
And that this is something that people love this much, to spend this much time on. And, you know, when you think about traditional, of course, this is teacher Robin coming out. When you think about education, a lot of it is, you know, we'll stand up there and we'll talk at them kind of thing. And you and I have really switched out our teaching styles in the first place.
Right.
And so we're making them do things. So a lot of this is engagement. You have to make people do things just to keep them involved. And this is a testament to that.
Totally.
See, and for me, and I don't know necessarily why it made me think of this, but like, so recently with work, and we've talked about this, like, we've been going through kind of a round of funding and trying to figure out, you know, can we bring some additional capital in to do some more things? And it really, like, that process has really changed the way that I look at information like this. Like, I look at this and it's like 50,000 years a week gaming. And my first reaction was like, how are more people not capitalizing on that? Like, how are more companies not capitalizing on that? And so what I've and I haven't thought through this entire thought, so bear with me. But like, what I think is kind of interesting here is, like, you know, we complain about the cost of video games, but it's probably the cost of those games that keep massive amounts of advertising out of the games.
Right.
Sure.
Like, that's something that to me is kind of interesting. Like, if you consider it really, like, I mean, we pay $60 a game, and a lot of people will complain and get frustrated with the cost of that game.
But to subsidize that.
But in order for it to go lower and still be capitalizing on that 50,000 years a week, they would be having to sell massive amounts of advertisements. They'd have to be like, I mean, commercial breaks
Right.
in the game. Like, I mean, really,
Think about like the
video games is kind of the only market that doesn't exist, right? Like, even on Hulu, if I watch a movie on Hulu, it starts and ends with an ad.
Yep.
So I don't know. That's
self-funded ones.
Right.
Placement in movies, books.
Mobile
Books
games
still
even.
keep themselves,
Mobile
right?
games
Because there's
are
not a lot
just-
of
Mobile games, you
Yeah.
have a ton of
but mobiles.
you have a ton of ads.
Saturated,
But like,
it's killed.
I really appreciate that. I don't know, and I don't know that thought has anything to do with the number itself, but like, that's the path that kind of took my brain down. Is like, I, for whatever reason, just recently, like, I try to I've been increasingly like trying to understand like what numbers equal dollars and vice versa, what dollars equal numbers, and how those two kind of play off of each other. And it's pretty incredible that 50,000 years a week is spent on these machines.
Yeah.
And I mean, it also says a lot about like the system that was created and how freaking awesome what Sony has put together really is.
It's amazing.
We haven't exhausted it yet.
Yeah.
Right? And it feels like there's so much more to go. And in a week, E3, like a couple of days, we'll find out what the next couple of years hold. All right, let's go. News number 2. This one is Battleborn has become free to play. So just 2 days ago, so they just announced that Battleborn is like, you just jump in and play now. You get unlimited competitive multiplayer with the free trial of Battleborn. So you can pick it up as a free download and just run with it. I have not played. That's not one that I've played yet, but have any of us played Battleborn?
So Battleborn had the unfortunate luck to launch close to Overwatch.
Yeah.
And they were
And like, I mean, it comes from a studio that I love.
Right.
Battleborn was made by Gearbox. I love the studio. I love the products that they've made. I even really like their CEO. I think Randy Pitchford seems like a really cool and funny dude. Battleborn launched at probably the worst time it could possibly freaking launch.
So does this help them then? Because what they're doing now is like the you get unlimited access to the competitive multiplayer gameplay, the modes, the maps, no time limits, no level caps. I think they said there's a weekly rotation of 6 heroes from their roster of 30. Like there's
so you'll only ever get to play 6
at a time, but you can progress with each hero and it gets saved. So when it comes back around in the rotation,
and then I assume you can buy the other ones if you're like, I just want to buy all the characters. Boom, I buy the characters.
You buy the game.
So it's a sweet deal.
Yeah.
Honestly, they probably should have started with that. Like when they found out they were going up against Blizzard's
Yes.
Overwatch. They should have been like,
Yeah, let's wait
we
till
need to
summer.
pivot.
Just
We need to pivot. We're going to go free to play with a rotating cast of characters that they can then purchase. That probably would have been a smarter move. out
yeah,
the
it would
gate.
have been a lot less upfront investment because, a side note, Overwatch this weekend is all, it's double XP.
Double XP, baby.
Oh, wow.
Double XP for Overwatch because it's the end of their anniversary event,
Oh,
which began
I gotta
on my
play.
birthday. Just throwing that one out there. Mhm.
Well, I got a phone call with one of my former students. We had a full conversation about life and, consulting. Like, what should I do this? Should I go solo? What should I do? And at the end of it, he was like, oh, yeah, and by the way, why aren't you playing Overwatch with me? Like, that was how we ended our conversation. And I was like, I'll do it. I'm sorry. I'll
Is
do
this
it.
Zach?
Yeah.
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 He likes Overwatch.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But that's good. This is good stuff. All right, let's do news number 3. Breaking Bad virtual reality project is in the works from Vince Gilligan. So this is, I don't know, virtual reality is fun. What would you expect from a Breaking Bad virtual reality? Do you really think it'd be like a simulator for meth?
Probably.
Like a meth simulator. You've got to boil this and
Or
It's like
this out.
quick
chemical
decision mini game
like stuff. Like, can you stop it from overcooking? I don't know how.
Was it like
shoot
instead of
the
farm?
cartel before they
Yeah,
shoot
instead
you.
of farm simulator, it's
Yeah.
it's meth simulator.
Meth Simulator
And you can be a
17.
goat.
If you can't make it blue, then the Mexican cartel offs you.
Do I get to drive the Winnebago?
That's what I want. Right?
Crazy Taxi, but with Walter and Jesse.
Little
from the
suit,
bed.
or what is it, like boxer shorts hanging out outside? I love it. But in the VR world, like, I have loved when I had the PSVR for a while. Like, it's just so immersive. Like, of all the places that you could experience, like, what does a Breaking Bad virtual reality project do? Like, even if it was just a story that was being told that
Right.
you could observe, like, that type of movie making has yet to be done with something this popular, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what comes.
I hope against hope that this is a different, like, standalone kind of story, like one of those side stories that was happening during
Sure.
during
Wouldn't that
the
be great?
episodes. But I just don't want them to rehash what's already been done because that is the death knell to all video games that are made
Yep.
off of
TV
movie, video, any sort of
Like the CSI game?
that's like a straight copy.
Yeah, see, that doesn't. You're right. That doesn't make sense. If it is like a side story where you can go, oh yeah, in that season, in that
It's
episode.
like when he went away, this is what
Here's
really
what
happened.
I love that.
That's just like a really bizarro story to me to tell in a video game.
Yeah.
I don't know. On a related note, though, I forgot to add this to the news, but I read this the other day. Sony has officially announced that they have sold over 1 million VR headsets.
Huge, right?
Which the president of Sony Interactive Entertainment
So they
has said that
put
it
back on the
it
burner?
exceeded their expectations.
Yeah,
Well,
well, they
it's
were
so
like,
good.
we're not doing any much with it anymore.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
But it's just good. The experience is
it's-
good, right? It's
Do
complete.
you know, I met a couple guys that are developing VR software on a plane, and I started talking to them about it, and they just had nothing bad to say about the PlayStation VR. They said
Interesting.
It's great entry-level VR.
Yeah,
Good.
lower price point. So, Mr. Morita, so the president again of Sony Interactive Entertainment, says, "I believe that VR technology is the greatest innovation since the birth of television. VR allows you to travel to World Heritage sites or to space while staying at home. It's like a time machine or a door to anywhere."
Just make me not
And
puke.
he's totally right, and that's so you're right in a lot of ways. I mean, if they went the show route like you guys had talked about with Breaking Bad, where like you're just an interactive part of the show, that's straight out of Ready Player One, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you go into war games and it's like, I mean, maybe you're playing Jesse and it's like, what do you say here? Yeah, bitch. But like that's Ready Player One, and that certainly is. That has to be like in somebody's list of like projects,
I feel
right?
like Ready Player One's so prophetic that eventually we're gonna get there.
For sure.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
For sure.
And then he puts up something like an Armada.
Then he writes the Armada. Ugh.
It was
Didn't go
entertaining,
so
guys.
well.
It wasn't
It
as
didn't go
good. It was
so well.
entertaining.
Bad. Don't lie.
Whatever. Will Wheaton reads both of them. and they're
I
good.
know. I just listened
I
to
Will
enjoyed
Listen
it.
to the
Will
Will.
Wheaton.
Will.
Wheaton.
Wheaton.
I enjoyed
Will
it.
Wheaton.
All right, news number 4.
It wasn't good writing. It wasn't Ready Player One.
Okay.
It was entertaining to me.
Okay.
It was like
You don't try and defend it. Drew, what's news
News
number
number
3?
four.
Number
No,
3.
we're on-
Number 3. You're on number 3.
3 is Breaking Bad.
No.
It is on
Oh
my
wait.
list.
Oh, okay.
4 is
You scrolled down.
4 is
Guys, she has a PhD.
don't question her.
4 is just a tweet from is it Jeff Keighley? Is that how you say
Yeah.
it? And he said that the E3 Coliseum show is going to kick off with an epic 1-hour presentation from Corey Barlog about the God of War team. Like the whole team is they're going to talk about.
I
for an
read
hour.
that as Balrog.
the Balrog return.
You
shut up.
Is
They've
he
been
the super?
working hard.
No, that I'm thinking. I was trying to picture him, and I was kind of picturing the For Honor guy. You remember the For Honor guy at E3 that came out with like the big old craggly beard and was like, "This game takes place." he just seemed like a dude that would like forge
in this.
a longsword in his basement. I'm excited for this. Like,
That'd be
what
cool.
I would love for them to do a demonstration of God of War the same way that they did Dishonored 2. If you remember
Yeah.
at E3 last year, Dishonored 2 got almost an hour
Yeah.
where they're like, we're going to walk you through the streets and we're going to show you how things work and we're going to show you how to interact. And I am so excited to see what they do with God of War.
Yeah,
and
so they're gonna do a
and
full
I'm
hour.
gonna save a very it's a stretch. It's a unlikely prediction, but it's going to be my prediction anyway. So I'll save that for our
So we'll
topic.
do that in a little bit. So let me race through these because I'd love to get those predictions. Number 5 in the news: Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice from Ninja
Yeah,
Theory. That launches August 8th, so we got a date August 8th.
I'm excited for that.
Senua's Sacrifice.
have you guys watched the trailers and the promos for this?
Yeah.
Not a lot, but
My gosh, the animations in it are incredible. I mean,
Those look good.
they used so the motion capture that they did was like a little camera that sat off of her face and captured her face while she was doing it, and so like the actual animations weren't being
That it
added on
rendered.
later.
Right, they were
It
her-
looks amazing.
I'm
what-
excited.
That's a hard thing to do on the production side of things. Like that takes a lot of extra money and thing, but it is so much more realistic.
Yeah.
Right. To be able to pull that together. Yeah. Looking forward to that. All right. Last little bit of news today. Troy Baker returns as Talion and will debut as the capture performance director in Shadow of War. So there was an Instagram post that kind of explains that, but basically his voice is coming back in Shadow of War, but they're also tapping him to do motion capture director. Is that
Man, he
So
Is
it's
that
kind
an
of a
upgrade,
pivot.
or is
It's
that
kind of
like
a pivot in his career, then, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Troy Baker has been. I mean, he's kind of been heralded as like the next big.
The
Not
thing.
even the next big thing. Like he's the thing
is the
in
thing.
voice acting right now. It's
Yeah.
like him and Nolan North, right?
I will do all the things.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
it's kind of an interesting transition. Like I wonder if he's like tired of voice acting and wants to move more into directing and
I
like
think
tired of doing Comic-Con
No,
and having to
I
do
think-
the Joker voice all the time.
I think what
Even
he
Mark
is
Hamill.
trying to do is make sure that he has job security.
yeah.
he has-
adding
I
that to the
would
resume.
vote for job security because sometimes
Voice is not
when
forever.
your voice is so noticeable, they won't be
to
attributed to
use
the
it anymore.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
So,
like,
hey,
oh, that's
this
Troy
Troy
Baker.
Baker.
It's like, no, this is my character that I have worked and like made sure that this is happening.
So which games has he done that you have like been like, oh, that's Troy?
The Andy Serkis.
Because I felt like that in
Specific
Uncharted.
games, yeah.
In
Yeah.
Uncharted, I felt like it was Troy. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you that in the freaking Last of Us, I was
Oh yeah,
not even connected to him at all. I didn't feel like,
Oh yeah.
and neither was Nolan North. Nolan North's in that was he played David, right? The pervert cannibal.
I never made it that far.
maybe yeah.
Drew.
I know.
You
I
didn't finish Last of Us? Don't
remember
we still
we
have
got
it?
to the first chapter and Peach was like, I can't do it anymore, and I was like, okay. So we moved on to Witcher or something else. So I have not gone back.
Yeah,
know.
I could see that
I know.
because that is an emotionally exhausting game.
Yeah. So we
Throughout the
didn't
whole
exhaust
thing.
enough there. But there's that. That, my friends, is the news.
There's another one added.
I'm waiting for it.
Oh, surprise! Here, I'll do it.
Yeah, mine's not refreshing.
No
Go.
Man's Sky. Mysterious cassette tapes are pointing to a Portal update. So what they're doing is the devs have sent out 16 cassette. Oh, shove it, Glenn. Shove it. Get out of my studio. Get out.
I need to go back.
I don't care. I don't care that you don't like it, you little baby.
What were you saying again about
Anyhow,
cassette tapes?
the devs have sent out 16 cassette tapes, and so what they've done is these people have now uploaded the sound bites. So the sound, so they've turned them into MP3s. They've released them on the internet, and now they're trying to figure out like what in the crap is this, because one side is just like music-y things, and then the other side is just like static. And so they're now translating it into, I think it's binary and ASCII, and when they do it, the ASCII spells out portal.
Oh.
And so like they're trying to piece it together
So is
with
that
this
fun little, like real world?
It's like an alternate reality
Oh, I
game.
love this. Why didn't I get one?
Yeah. So I thought that was interesting, and they're using cassette tapes. I mean, that's pretty.
Although if I got a cassette tape from a developer and I was a Reddit moderator, like that was me, I would be hunting down. Like,
Oh, yeah, I would find it.
You'd just be like, I'll
Just-
figure this out.
yeah,
Even if it was
I got
like
it.
an old like 8-track, I'd be like, I can do this. This is part 1 of the game. I love it. So
Yeah.
speculation is what?
Speculation is there are different little portal areas, and already within the game that they might be activating them. So who knows? Who?
Because I haven't played that
knows?
one since I left, but I'm.
Yeah, I
want
haven't.
to go because I stopped playing right as they started saying you can build your base, you can build your.
Yeah, I don't like base building. I just want to go and fly places. My favorite thing to do is just be like, nah, screw this planet.
I'm gone.
It's like, didn't work for me. I'm out.
That's cool. That's
So-
cool. I'm still a No Man's fan, so I just need more time.
I like it because there is no other human to interact with. I don't want to play with people. I don't even want to see anyone.
But
that's
it's
like
good. It's good.
no. And that, my friends,
So in
is
the in the time that you guys were playing it and everybody was playing it, did you ever see anyone?
No, we weren't supposed to.
That's crazy.
No, you're not supposed to. You can see
don't
what
know, I
people have
expected it.
claimed. It's like you can see the little flags and what they've named things. Like Layla now has Layla Planet.
I love
That's
it.
And-
awesome.
I mean, you can just see like what people have claimed, but I don't want to see another human. I'm okay with that. I never want to be like a multiplayer No Man's Sky. It's like that's the worst contradiction ever.
You can be a hermit and still own the whole universe. Like the whole entire place is yours, and nobody's gonna find you.
Yep,
That's
you
good.
can
That's
lay
good.
down and take a nap.
Yeah, let's jump in. So I just wanted to have a quick question about what you guys expected to see out of the E3 press conferences this year, and what you expect and are excited for, or what you hope for. You know, every year we kind of go through this. Most years we have a little more time to prepare for this conversation. So I don't know how much time you guys have spent digging in and like
Thinking about
looking
it.
at what's coming.
A few minutes in.
But I wondered if any of you guys had any thoughts about like what you are hoping for, what you expect to see, what you hope to find. So I have a couple predictions. I do think, I'm hoping that BioWare will tease their new IP. So the new IP being what everyone
Right,
kind of has described
They're under
as.
construction.
Yeah, it has basically described as like the A team that should have been working on Mass Effect was pulled off years ago to
That's
work
right.
on Secret Project to combat Destiny. Right?
Oh, boy.
So on the EA side, they have no answer to Destiny as of today, which
Right.
is kind of crazy, right? You think about that. You have Ubisoft with The Division, which was kind of their answer to that open world multiplayer.
Yeah.
You have Activision with Bungie through Destiny. But on the EA side, we've seen nothing. Like there is no answer there. And so I think that we're going to get a tease and an idea of what it is, and I'm hoping it's amazing. I just, gosh dang, I would love
Something.
another. Like I
Little
just love
something.
being able to play with, like, you know, Robin is the isolationist in No Man's Sky, and
Yeah.
like Destiny totally changed me from like hating
That's right.
online
That's right.
gaming to like, I mean, some of my favorite people to play with I've met through Destiny, and like I love hopping on and playing with them. I love chatting with them. Like Glenn and I are in Facebook chats where that's what we talk about like all day long. And so I'm really hoping that that we get something new from BioWare that can drive that home. I'm gonna make a prediction that I don't know that it's likely. This is my hope. This is my long shot. Have you guys seen the banner for God of War?
Yes.
That has been lower. Was put up on the buildings.
Yes.
Over the weekend. Mm-hmm. Shows Kratos like rowing a boat with this little kid in a ship, and like looking at it, I was like, man, you know what would be cool is if this was like Horizon Zero Dawn and it was open world.
A God of War open world.
Yeah.
That would.
I think that would be amazing. I think you could still have. I think Horizon proved that you could still have the depth of story.
Yes. And
that you could still have the flow of story that is required in a God of War game. Like God of War is very linear.
You need that pacing.
I think Horizon proves that you can achieve that pacing while still providing you with things to do that make sense in that world. And so while it may be a very unpopular opinion, like I would really love to see that happen. And I think we're going to see more games move in that direction. So I'm kind of hoping that they go that way.
Hope. I think you've got some potential for sure.
We'll see. I just think like so much of the introduction to Horizon Zero Dawn with Aloy's like pseudo father walking her through training and getting like, what if you could play instead of as Aloy? What if you were playing as the dad walking this young kid through what it means to fight demigods and training him up, and then maybe like switching places similar to The Last of Us, where you're switching to Ellie and you're playing now. Like I think that could be a very interesting dynamic and would be kind of cool. We'll see. I don't know that
it's worth hoping for.
It's not likely. You know, God of War is historically ultra linear.
It's a platformer.
Yeah, I would love to see it move away from that.
Valid.
Just because it would give me more time in the world, I guess, is maybe the biggest reason.
Yeah, and that's kind of, it's one of the things like the more bang for your buck. We're spending, 50,000 years a week in this. As far as my predictions go, my predictions are always wrong. So I think this is going to be a very underwhelming E3.
It's hard to beat Horizon Zero Dawn.
I really think they're going to, I don't know, call me cynical. I think they're going to try to promise too much again, and then we're going to have another. Of course, I'm following the Final Fantasy remake that's been pushed back by years and years now because they can't get their act together. I don't think that thing's going to come out even when Square Enix is still Square Enix. I think there's going to be like a major shakeup because so much of their resources is going to be sunk into this level of nostalgia.
Yeah, that's the worry.
And I think they've created themselves a beautiful money pit.
That they will never be able to deliver what?
Yeah, and it's like I just don't want it to be Half-Life 3. So that's my fear with it. But I think that this year is going to be pretty darn underwhelming. I don't think that we're going to get a lot of new announcements. I think we're going to get a lot of follow-ups, like you were saying.
I probably would agree with that.
What you were saying with God of War. We know.
Oh, I hope you're wrong.
We know about this. I don't think that we're going to get a lot of new information. I think we're in a lull.
That's true, and I think the problem, I think what you just said is exactly right, is that they have shown us stuff that is so far out that all they can do is show it to us again with a little more detail. So like, we're going to see, train. Obviously we're going to see a lot of God of War, right? We already know we're getting an hour of it at the show opener. Days Gone, I don't know that you guys remember Days Gone. It was the one that kind of had that Last of Us feel. But we just got a little taste of that at the last E3, so we're going to get a lot of that one. So like, so a little bit more Death Stranding. So here are the ones that I think are going to be obvious, and maybe a couple points that maybe you're wrong on. First of all, we know for sure we're not seeing Death Stranding.
Oh yeah,
we won't see any Death Stranding. I mean, Hideo Kojima said they won't be at E3.
That's okay.
I wouldn't.
So they may show like a short trailer, but there will be no like presence.
No.
Presents.
Here's what I'm thinking is I think we for sure going to finally find out what Sucker Punch is working on. That'll be a new game. That'll be a brand new announcement. I have no idea what that game looks like or what it is. All I know is that I love Infamous and I'm into whatever they're making.
Just yes. Carte blanche.
For sure, right? Like they have been nowhere to be seen or heard from in
It's been
4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, when's the last time we heard about anything coming from Sucker Punch?
Since Infamous.
So we've got to hear from them this year, right? So I do think we'll see that. But outside of that, like I can't think of any studio that's not working on something actively. Sony Santa Monica has God of War.
Mm-hmm.
Guerrilla Games, they may announce some DLC for Horizon.
Right.
Which I'd be into.
Oh yeah.
What are the other Sony-owned studios that we should be paying attention to that we're missing? I mean, you have Sucker Punch, Insomniac's kind of a pseudo studio. They're going to be there with Spider-Man, obviously. Mm-hmm.
Insomniac has always been. It's strange, but they are an indie studio.
Yeah, which is wild.
Yeah.
That they're indie, but they make a lot of like first-ish party games for Sony. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think it's just overall E3 it feels like they almost always for their launches and their teases, it's usually like a little bit more from the year before. Mm-hmm. Like we told you about this and now it has a name, or we told you about this and here's a little bit more. But there's so many big games that have come out recently that we were waiting for that I'm not sure that there's going to be much more for them to add into it. Like Last Guardian has come out, then Mass Effect Andromeda is here. Like there's things that are here that I just feel like it'll be console. It'll be like, here's the PS4 Slim.
Hardware
Look at
stuff.
it. We just saw the gold. We talked about the gold
Scorpio.
version. Here's the Scorpio. Here's what it's going to do.
And that's what's hard is that it's hard to remember that E3 is like an investor show.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the hard part
now, but it still is.
It exists for investors.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, and I mean, we discussed like why they opened it up to the everyday person, right?
I actually saw an article today. One of the reporters was like basically pleading with the public to not get in his way. It was kind of like, this is what I do every day. This is where I get my stories. This is what we talk about. And just because you're invited, like, understand you're not going to get to play everything. You don't get to go behind all the same doors we do. Like, it was just kind of this, like, just putting people in their place. It was really like, wow.
Which is, I mean,
valid.
I get that.
It's totally valid.
It's just kind of funny that they had to like split it out.
But I will say, like, I think E3 would die without the added presence of the public.
Agreed.
Yep, because
It's
everybody's kind of
too
pulled
big
off
a
their
venue.
own shows now, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's too big a venue. It's too difficult to offset, and so to be able to combine them all. So let me ask then, what do you guys, Glenn? Do you have any thoughts on E3? I mean, you've been pretty quiet.
You know, I haven't done a lot of research. I have looked into a few like just subject matter games that were coming out. Vampire is an RPG. It's coming out, and then the Call of Cthulhu, I think. Just because I love H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah, you do.
So.
You love Cthulhu, devil.
So I think those will be interesting. I don't know if they're going to be awesome games or not, but I'll get them just because I like the subject matter.
Yep.
Yeah, this is the screenshot of that wall.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So, do you guys think? Let me ask this question: who do you guys think has the strongest conference? We know Scorpio will be going into great depth, right, with Microsoft.
Right, and they'll be talking.
I don't think they have anything to offer besides Scorpio, though.
Yeah, that's
what's going to be the deciding factor to me is like if they can be like Scorpio's coming, and guess what? Boom, 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 boom. These are the games that we've never talked about that will be there on launch.
I don't think it'll be.
If they could do that,
yeah,
they'd crush.
But they
E3.
don't have any like exclusive stuff.
Very little.
Very little, yeah.
So I don't know what they can announce. There's another Halo or something.
Yeah, they've got Halo.
Oh, it's another Halo. Woo!
I can't even.
I think PlayStation. Do you think they'll do anything with?
Maybe a Fable if they brought that back. Although Fable kind of died.
I just think what Sony has done so incredibly well, I kind of feel like they've played a chess game. Like, because ultimately, like, why do you play games? You play for the game, right? And Sony has snatched up some of the very best studios in the world that, like, Guerrilla has proven with Horizon to be baller status. You have Insomniac, or not Insomniac, but Sucker Punch. You have Sony Santa Monica. You have freaking Naughty Dog. And, like, you go through the list that Microsoft has, like, it kind of is like, dude, letting go of Bungie was the craziest shiz you've ever done. Like, that's nuts.
Well,
because that really, like, that's the only one I can think of that is, like, notable enough to care about, right? Can you guys think of others that, like, that fit that bill of, like, yeah, we're going to compare you to Naughty Dog? I can't.
No, there's very little.
I don't know. I think Sony is playing chess while like Microsoft seems to be playing checkers, and they're like, "Oh, I got you.
I make a console. Okay, so
it's
where's
like,
your games? Hang on.
Yeah, that's the problem that they're going to run into, and I think that's why, several of the Sony executives have come out and been like, "We're not intimidated or scared by Scorpio at all. Like, we're just not." And I hope, what I would love is that Microsoft comes out and Scorpio does well, and that they crush. I would love for them to crush it at
Keep
E3
the
this year.
competition.
Because if they came out and they had a killer debut and Scorpio just absolutely was awesome, Sony would be like, "Oh, we need to create something that can run everything we do at 60 frames per second. Like, we need to be able to run our games on a console the same way a high-end PC does." I'd be behind that.
Oh yeah.
In a lot of ways, I think we all thought that's what PlayStation 4 Pro was going to do. But
Bloodborne killed me.
yeah, those are my thoughts for E3. You guys got anything else?
The only thing that I want to see, just over the week, is I want to hear a launch date for Ni no Kuni 2.
Ooh.
That's the only thing I want.
Do you think it'll come? I feel like it's got to be this year.
I think it's got to be this year, and this
don't
would be
think
the
so.
place to say, okay, here's the day in September where you get your vasectomy. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm waiting for. That's the only thing I want.
Get
Everything
that
else-
vasectomy. Get that gaming time. Go
Get the
jam.
clippings.
I'm
Get the clippings and
ready
the
for that
snippings.
date. You set the date. I'll make a
gonna
call.
have a date.
I'll make a call. But that's really the only thing. Everything
I'll
else,
get
I
mine
really.
done in solidarity too.
I'll do it.
But I really think that.
Boy howdy.
I know you're right. There's just not a whole lot out there that I'm anticipating. We'll learn about Scorpio. We'll see what they have. But really, game wise, I would love to see DLC for Horizon. And anything else after that, I just don't expect much. Like you said, underwhelming.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hope you're both wrong.
I hope I'm wrong
I
too.
hope
love,
you're wrong.
Look,
I would
I've
love to
been-
be stoked.
I have been so wrong about the other E3 predictions. So let me be wrong about this one. I remember the thing that I forgot.
Oh.
The person who made Wonder Woman is also the person who made the polygraph test. That's why it's the lasso of truth.
Ah, that's interesting.
I know. Okay, so I'm good.
Wow.
Do you mean the creator of the comic?
Yeah.
Okay. Not
Very, very
director.
interesting.
No.
Hey, okay.
All right. That's it for episode 129 of the LittleBigKast. Thank you for joining us. As always, you can follow us all on our individual channels. You can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Hawks. You can follow Robin at
Robin Hazlett, because I'm original like that.
Me too.
Yay.
Mr. Glenn.
I'm at Wigs9703 or at GWiggum.
And our own Drew Tyler.
At 920 KNITE 20.
It's a story about drugs behind that name. I know it. I'm going to figure it out.
Illegal.
Glenn, just tell the story.
No.
Kick it off.
No.
We will catch you soon.
You've got a
This is-
crowd.
He still has my
You've got a live crowd of 4 watching the show. They're
still have my
eagerly
That's all of us
anticipating.
on their computers.
Anyway, this has been episode 129. Thank you so much for following us, for listening to the show. And
Love
if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to tweet at any of us or directly to us at LittleBigKast on Twitter or on Facebook, wherever. We love and appreciate you. Thanks for listening. Adios.